During my meditation, I understood this. You don't have to leave to begin your life. You don't have to leave to begin your life. I don't know how that applies to you, but how it applies to me is because it applies to you. How, I don't know, but for me, everything that has happened so far was a crescendo to my exodus. It was leading to me leaving. And if you saw last, I was talking about my house being auctioned off in a couple of days, and I want to say thankfully, but at the same time, I was anticipating leaving to get my life started. For me, leaving was very, very hard in that I don't like to abandon anything. I don't want to not give anything the benefit of the doubt or a second or third or fourth chance. This house held us. This house kept us safe. It kept me hidden in a time where I didn't want to be seen. And now I'm leaving it. That was the thing that was really hard for me to comprehend, to not necessarily get over, but to adjust to that idea that there's a purpose for everything, in everything. And that purpose might not be what you thought, but it could be also. But the cycle expires, or not necessarily the cycle expires. The way it goes is that this cycle has an expiration, and then it's reborn, and it begins again. And so for this house, at that time, its purpose was us. And now its purpose will be for another family, if it is to be. That is how I was able to adjust, because my purpose has also expired here. And now I'm being called somewhere else that I don't know. And that's terrifying, but at the same time, exciting. So I was anticipating the auction of this house as my ignition. And up until that point, I was actively trying to prevent the foreclosure of my home through forbearance requests and the such, and I was granted a postponement because I want to sell my house. Because who wants bad credit, right? But I don't know, I kind of think I worked against myself in this one because I was having a hard time with how people would see me as irresponsible without even understanding or knowing the situation. And I didn't want that to continue to be the theme because that was the theme that I left. And here it is still playing out. I don't have to leave to start my life. You don't have to leave to start your life. So then what does that look like? Because what I was planning was getting back to the basics. I want to rebuild my foundation because my foundation was on shaky ground. It was built on sand. It was conditional upon the weather. So I want to rebuild it. And in rebuilding my foundation, I will also be building my children's foundation so that it is stable and strong. And getting back to the basics means getting back to nature, being immersed in it, learning it, growing with it. I was just going to travel for the next however long I need to travel for the next chapter, explore the world, and become the director of a movie, setting the scene for my children to see the magic that exists, that we just miss because life happens too fast. Life happens without care. And I don't want my children to be a part of that. I don't want to be a part of that anymore. I want life to be purposeful. So this is entirely frustrating for me because, to put it quite plainly, I've been in survival mode. I've been planning, strategizing, making moves, buying this, buying that, so that I can plan my exodus just perfectly, because that's what it takes. It takes a marker, an ending, to signal a new beginning. And that auction was going to be it. And now I'm now immersed in working on selling my home and staying longer in a place that's been expired for me to save someone else. I don't know if I like that because they were so damaging. Yet here I am, working by myself to save them. Save them so I could save myself. For fear of being misunderstood, for fear of being misunderstood. I don't know if I like that. So what do I do? What do I do in this situation? What's the right thing? Preserve my energy so that I can be a better guardian because I have the energy and the patience for my children, but also sacrifice my credit, my credibility. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in, right? At least if you're in America. Or work hard and just work hard for the next month or two, or even just maybe work hard for the next month, work hard for the next month or two and sell the house, pay my half, and go. I guess the first option, it sounds like I'm using my kids to run away from something. You could see it as that, now that I'm thinking about it. And the second one seems very admirable. Admirable. This whole time, for the last 9 years, I've had to choose either my relationship with my husband or my relationship with my kids. Unfortunately, I chose my husband until I stopped. And when I did, the marriage was over. I'm not saying I'm a saint. I put my kids through hell because I was so wrapped up with the idea of a perfect bond with my husband. And when I say a perfect bond, it's a perfect to me because there would be understanding and trust. There'd be love and room to grow with each other. That is perfect. And if we're perfect together in our bond, then naturally we'd be perfect parents because we wouldn't have to worry about trust and love. All of that wouldn't be conditional. So we could focus on being loving parents. But I was focused on that first. That needed to happen first. And the frustration and the frustration and the frustration of it not coming together and having to explain and over-explain and explain and explain and teach and teach and teach, only for it to expire. So now what I'm doing is healing and understanding myself. And in understanding myself and building that perfect relationship with myself, I can be a good mother to my children. The positive side is I have a desire to know myself. I'm not resistant. And I don't have to teach myself many times and over-explain. I just need patience with myself. Because I understand now, through love, that I didn't just come out this way. And in healing myself, I'm also healing my children. I still make mistakes, but I'm learning, reparenting myself, and I repair. I just didn't want to be distracted with all of this, these tasks. I become overwhelmed, and then I don't do what I should be doing, which is moving. Moving is very slow for me. And being reminded of how my life used to be, not only the bad times, but also how wonderful it could be. But also going through and facing my mistakes. I'm in survival mode. Gosh, I wear that like a badge. I don't mean to. I use it as a reminder that this is only temporary. That when all of this is over, when my exodus occurs, I will no longer be in survival mode. But again, I don't need to leave to begin my life. So I could get out of survival mode and be available to my children and to have fun. But that seems so scary because what happens in the background? irresponsibility, shame. Anyway, that's how it applies to me. You don't have to leave to begin your life. Don't have to leave to begin your life. I can begin today and still leave. Just, my life doesn't have to wait for me to leave to begin. How does it